Hello, I am Avadrock42, and this is the Dragon Warrior Sprite Importer tool. Let's spend a moment and go over how it works. Okay, so you'll open the tool, and the very first thing you'll want to do is load a file. This is going to come with two templates. We've got a 3-state template and a 5-state template. We're going to open the 3-state to start with, and I will show you by clicking preview that it will load Loto and the Princess Squalin, as well as all of these sprites over here. There's a way up here you can select what background you'd like to place them on and load each one individually to give you an idea of what the contrast will be. So for starters, the hero color palette will be the first palette, which it is as it is in the game. The second palette will be for this merchant gentleman over here. Third palette covers the gray folks down here, and then the final palette is the princess as well as the King Lork and the fighter. But if you need to move Loto's palette, you can pick some other palette to work on, assuming that whatever it is going to be kind of like a wild and crazy palette, and you want to use something different. If you were going to change his skin tone to green, for example, and his horns to a purple color, and maybe the body color to lavenderish color, it makes the folks over here look a little sickly, and nobody wants that. So you can take your male townie and put him on number 2 or number 3, put him in some gray clothes or even into brown clothes. Same with the female townie. You can put her into gray or make her green like the merchant, or into brown clothes. And you're able to change any one of these to any one of the other palettes freely, completely freely. So when you save it, they'll all be whatever you've picked, and you can adjust all of the palettes as you like. We can take the gold trim on our merchant and we can make it red if you'd like. I can change that green more to a purple color if that's what you're feeling. Oops, I didn't click it quite. Purple color there. We'll change that back to that nice dark red, maybe a little pink. He's having a good time in his pink outfit. Whatever works for you, whatever's going to make you happy. And then you would click generate IPS file. Use that IPS file with Lunar IPS or some other patcher, and patch your ROM file, and everything will be hunky-dory. Okay, so we're going to load up one that I've already completed, which is this Lolo's 3-state Lolo. And preview. And you'll see that this is, we're going to set these back to the original colors here for the palette. And you'll see it's weird. Something's wrong. He doesn't look right. And that's okay. We can fix that. The first thing you're going to want to do is, oh, whoops, I've put these in the wrong spot. That was supposed to be purple, and then that one's white, pink, and that one's white. So the pink one here is actually, we need to change it to black. Oops, that was white. The pink one here gets changed to black, and it looks like Lolo. There he is. Now, if for some reason you were to have your townies and the Dragon Lord set to their normal palette color, it's kind of a mess. And it's not really conducive if you want to use this palette for anything else. So it's difficult with black, but what you can do is you can try making that one black and this one white and give them a white face. It's a little strange. They look a little ghastly. You could also try putting the white here and making color 1 blue. And they still look a little strange. It's not really going to work out too great. But if you do it this way, maybe you could leave the Dragon Lord there if you didn't want to make him one of the other colors for whatever reason. But it's better than the way it was. It's better than if you put the black in the front and the white here. Because that's just, I don't know. Maybe you like that. Maybe you want them to that coloring. Probably not. But if you didn't, what you can do, you can use these arrows to switch the palette for the hero. So if on the sheet, when you've made it, you've got it and it looks like this and this is wrong, but now everything else over here looks the way you want it, you can just flip them. It's fine. You can flip them as needed. And if you change the palette to something else, even though these arrows are up here, you can flip them here too. It's just a quick little flip. Anyway, that's that part of it. So we're going to generate this IPS file. And it will say generated state 3 Lolo JPEG IPS successfully. And that gets dumped out into the folder with the program. So we're going to take that file, which you won't be able to see here, and patch it and then load up BizHawk. BizHawk, you so tiny. There we go. Okay. I've got a bunch of save states. They're going to look a little funky, but there's Lolo. He's colored all wrong. This is, as you can see, he's set to the regular palette, but it's all inverted and weird, but that'll fix itself once we walk outside. And then we've got our little Lolo palette. Doot, 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 doot. And he walks around pretty good. This is what he would look like if he had just the sword, just the shield. They all the same, and then both, and now we've got, oops, one more, and then the princess sprite, which we'll go outside for. I'll come back in real quick. It's not the greatest. I did it kind of quickly. As you can see, those guys are dressed weird, but there he goes wandering around, eyeball wiggling. Moves just enough to make it look like he's moving. Gets the job done. Here's our friend the Dragon Lord. Oops. Those colors are a little wonky because the save state keeps the palettes from before, but we'll just run and you'll see that it fixes the palette, and there's your Dragon Lord looking all funky. And then last but certainly not least, again, wrong palettes. Let's leave and come back in. We're inside the castle for our little ending sequence. We've dressed up our friends in nice pink and King Lork. We'll get our little trumpets now. Yes, of course you can come with us. And you can see there that Gwaelin was a different palette than she is here, because you can set both of those palettes independently. Ta-da! And that's the gist of it. You pick your colors down here, you pick your backgrounds up here, make sure it looks the way you want it to look. Maybe do a little more editing. Bring the file back in, preview it again, get it right, set it all up, get your colors right, get your swappings all correct, pick what you want for all your NPCs, export, and you're good to go. And then there's the template, and I'll go over that with you now in Sprite. So this is Sprite. We have a Lolo sprite sheet, and we have our template that has Loto on it and the color palette. So for simplicity's sake, we're gonna grab the sprites from an existing sprite. I'm not going to try to create my own, at least not right now. But so in the bottom corner, you can see how big your rectangular selection is. That's 16 there. I just want to make sure I grab the right spot here. And then we go over 16 by 16. We're going to select this guy. We're going to copy. We're going to paste him. We're going to drag him right into this position here. And then go back and get our next sprite, which we'll use the one over here. So that starts here, 16 by 16, and we'll copy this one, paste, and bring him down. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing. I've actually, as you saw, I've already done the whole thing, but we're going to zoom in on our good friend down here so I can just go over a couple of things. So as you can see, his coloration is different than Loto's coloration. Not a big deal. That's actually perfectly fine, because you're going to tell the app what colors to use by using the colors that exist in your creation. There can only be 3 colors per tile, which is an 8x8 segment, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. But they can be modified. They're allowed to be either the Loto palette or the Guilin palette. And the way you would do this is you'd make sure you're set to your fill brush or your paint bucket tool, and you're going to grab the colors. With Sprite, it's hold alt and you use your little dropper to pick up the color, and you're just going to paste it, and you'll see in this program it'll recolor everything that's colored that color, which is fine. And then we'll grab the white from here and we'll put that in that box. Even though it is white, it might not be the same color. Now, it's you have to be explicit with what colors are in these boxes are the colors in your palette. There is no the software doesn't know if it's close to white. No. It has to be exact. And that's very important, unfortunately. And then we'll grab the black and we'll fill that in there, which, as you can see, is now covered out a bunch of stuff. I'm actually going to undo all that for a second because I can just check contiguous, and that will stop that from changing everything. So with blue and white and then black. So the other thing that needs to happen once you've filled in all of your sprites, this non-background background, you cannot set this to the same black that you've entered here. This needs to not be the same black as the background. So in this case, in the very bottom left corner, you can see when I'm holding the Alt key, it says RGB value here is 000, and the one on our good friend Lolo here is 001. There is one tick in the blue column there, which differentiates it from this black. So if we select this black, we can then paint bucket fill in the corners for the background. And that, while you can't see it, is accurate. It's perfectly fine. It'll pass the sniff test when you bring it into the Sprite importer tool. And you can see if I go over here to select the magic wand tool and I take off contiguous, it'll select all of the color on the screen that is this color black, that is 000. And you can see that it's not selecting the inside of Lolo's eyes or any of the black around the outside because it's not technically the same color. Tolerance is set to 0, so it's only going to pick that exact color. So if I click in here and pick this color, you see it selects all the black around Lolo, his shadow, and all of the defining features around the outside of his sprite. Same if I click this white one, it's going to just pick the whites inside of him because none of the other white is him or is in any of the other sprites. So again, the white in the princess's dress is a little bit different. So if we click on that, it'll just select the stuff that is in the princess. Once you finish all of your sprites, you get something that looks a little closer to this. Apologies, the princess, the rescue sprite, it's just so difficult to come up with anything that looks remotely rescue-ish. I didn't spend a lot of time on this, unfortunately. I just wanted to kind of quickly put one together. I could get it out and use for this tutorial. But you get the general idea. I'm going to quickly touch on the 5-state template just so that we can have a quick chat about it. It's the same deal. You have to pick 6 different colors. If you want to use a color that is like, if you want to use brown in both palettes, that's fine for when you're selecting them inside of the app. But on the palette, they need to be different. Just the tiniest difference is fine. They can basically be visually identical on screen for you as long as the RGB value of that color is different. The app can tell the difference. Unfortunately, it tells the difference too well. So that said, just quickly to go over this, anywhere that the boxes are the same color that isn't this red color here, this little peachish red, those are all different ones. So every one that is this color is not mirrored or reversed. I know that I unfortunately said it was for the inside, for the dithering that's in there. So the yellow square is mirrored here to there to get your animation. It's also brought down to here. This side is brought down here. This side is mirrored and brought down there to give you your shield walking animation. The gray box over here does the exact same thing as that, except it does the opposite side. This side's brought here. This side is flipped and brought there. If you look at the green boxes here, they get brought straight down, I believe. And then the brown on this side, they get brought straight down. Orange and purple. And then down here for this section, they don't get mirrored. They actually just get reused. This part of the sprite for the princess and the hero rescue doesn't move at all. And there's not a whole lot of a way around that. So just work within that limitation for now. At some point, I might go back and set this up so that we can have these 4 blocks. But I think at that point, if you're trying to get the full animation, you can just use the 3-state. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of this one, I think. Most sprites don't necessarily have full equipment, but maybe you'll find yourself wanting to use the 5-state. But that's where we're at with all of that. So this is it, man. This is version 1.0 of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Sprite Importer. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, or hit me up on Discord or Twitter and let me know what you think we can improve for 2.0. I can't wait to see what you all come up with for new sprites using this new tool. But if you liked what you saw, thumbs up. It's down there. Down there. Don't thumb up over there somewhere down. Just, yeah, that's good. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. Those are cool. It lets me know that I didn't meet the mark this time. There's a subscribe button down there that you can hit if you're feeling froggy. I don't know that I'll produce a ton of content, but you might get something once in a while that's like, hey, that looks kind of neat, and I remember him from before. So, do or don't. I'm not gonna crap about it. Man, it's way too indifferent. I feel like I'm just like rambling now. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you really liked it, maybe subscribe. See you later. A Sprite. I'm going to say it wrong a bunch. I've already probably said it wrong a bunch. It's A Sprite. Ace Sprite. Well, this is the take 2, I guess. Wow, I'm really bad at this.